Welcome to the show. I'm so excited that you're here.
What episode is this? This is
This
episode
is
number 5.
episode number 5. Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm
Wow.
early, getting in early.
You're getting it early, right?
Right before
So
you take off and
I
skyrocket and
hope so. I hope
take
so.
over social.
Skyrocket is a good term. Yeah. I'm so happy you're here to talk about manifestation and mental health and how we maybe can impact our mental health through manifestation or how they intertwine.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Lona, would you like to introduce yourself? Would you like to tell my audience about yourself, who you are, what you do, what your work is?
Absolutely. So my name is Lona. I am the founder of the Art and Science, which is a project that started as a passion project or has been my passion project for many, many years, which is, talking about energy and manifestation and the law of attraction and mindset. And a lot of that also ties into mental health. The way I kind of stumbled into the whole topic of manifestation is out of um, necessity for creating or wanting to change something about my life, wanting to improve things in my life. And in that process, I also, struggled a lot with my own mental health. And for me, manifestation has really been very connected to improving my mental health. Not that it's like that one size fits all solution for everybody, but for me, it's really been kind of a mindset and a way of life that has helped me improve. So the art and science is a project that I started to help teach other people about manifestation, help teach other people about their mindset and how we are all actually capable of creating a life that we want to live and that we enjoy living, and that we all have so much more potential than we might believe that we have because of our limiting beliefs. And so through the art and science, I teach people how to uncover their limiting beliefs, upgrade their belief system, and manifest the life of their wildest dreams, and just be happier and more content with the way that things are going for them in general.
Sounds amazing. And first of all, I want to tell you that I really appreciate your work that you're doing because for me, like I always had like the sense of that manifestation is not just woo woo, that it actually works, but only through meeting you and, learning about your work, I realized that there's actually a science behind it too. So that it's not just magic or not just,
Mhm.
um, a trick,
Yeah,
but there's
exactly.
actually proof that it's able to work.
That there is something behind it. And that, I think, what a lot of people, when I say manifestation, they're like, whoa, 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 that's like
Yeah,
new
yeah.
stuff. Press the brakes. I don't want to hear about it. Because what they think I'm going to say is like, okay, think positive, just be happy, and then everything will happen for you. And that is absolutely not what
Mhm. Mhm.
manifestation is, at least not in the way that I teach it. It's not about spiritual bypassing. It's not about not feeling your negative emotions. It's not about pretending that you're happy when you're not, pretending that everything is good when it's not. It's about understanding what beliefs and what underlying maybe traumas or past experiences or fears, and what is underlying all of this that is causing you to not feel good, and what can we do about it?
Mhm.
How can we reprogram those beliefs to support you in living the life that you want to live, and help you believe in yourself and be confident enough in yourself and in your ability to create a life that you actually want to live. And when you believe in yourself and when you have that confidence in yourself that you can be happy and that you deserve to be happy, then those things that you want actually manifest much easier or come to you much easier, because you if you believe in yourself, you ask for what you want. You take risks,
Yeah,
you invest
totally.
in yourself. You do all the things that you need to do and take the actions that you need to take to create a life that you actually want to live.
And that's a great word that you said. So action is very often, like, if you like think about manifestation, you you think that everything is happening. Well, obviously everything is happening for you, but you need to take the steps first. So it's not like everything is going to be served on a silver platter unless you actually do the work for it. So is that, in your perspective, is that why people still think manifestation is some sort of a woo-woo thingy, or, you know, that it's just, I don't know. Like sometimes when I talk to friends about manifestation, they're like, yeah, but it's, the secret is, the book The Secret, right?
Mhm.
So in that book, I think they display it as if it were something. Obviously, you need to take action with your intentions, but then again, it's like, yeah, no, the best job and the best money and everything is coming to you. You don't have to do anything for
Mhm.
it. Just think positive and everything's going to be okay. So I think that's why a lot of people have kind of a misconception about manifestation, right?
I call this the spiritual mumbo jumbo. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
spiritual mumbo jumbo out there. And I mean, I can just go back in time a little bit to when I discovered manifestation. So when I
Yes,
first
please.
discovered manifestation, I was in a very, very, I really, really needed a lot of money. I was in a very, very desperate kind of almost place that I wanted to go abroad. I really wanted to do the study abroad program, and I needed 40,000 US dollars. And my parents were very, very broke. We grew up super, super poor. And they were like, yeah, sure, you can go to this school if you want to, if you can pay for it. And then I decided that I was going to find a way to pay for it. Long story short, a month before I was actually meant to fly to Costa Rica to get on the plane to go to this school, I still did not have this all this money for the tuition, but I had booked my flights. I had done everything I needed to do. And I manifested this money from a complete stranger. A complete stranger just gave me this money to go to this school.
Wow.
And shortly before I manifested that, so it was like 2 months or 3 months before I was meant to fly, I stumbled across the documentary The Secret. And
Hmm.
that's when the idea of manifestation came into my head the first time. And like you said, The Secret is like, okay, just think positive and everything will just
Yeah.
magically unfold for you. And I thought it was crazy. I was 16 years old. I was like, this is nuts, but it's literally the only chance I have. So I'm going to just hold on to this with every ounce of my being, and I'm going to try and see if it works, because there is no other chance, right? It's either this or nothing. So I did, and I like just did not allow anybody to tell me that it wasn't going to work. And we did, like, I convinced my parents to do fundraisers with me. We took all this action to try to make this money, like raise this money. My parents were rejected from every single bank in the whole country
Oh,
for a loan, because they even tried to take out a loan so that I could go to this school.
oh,
And
that's so sweet, though.
we got rejected, every single one, because they were like, you don't make enough money to take out this loan and everything like that. But I was just not allowing myself to be swayed, because the Secret documentary convinced me that with my mind I could just manifest this money, and I was believing in that and holding on to it with every ounce of my being, because I really, really wanted it to be true. In the end, I did manifest the money, and that's when I was like, okay, there is something here. But later, when I tried to manifest things again with the same method, it wasn't always consistent. It's like sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And I was just not really sure why. I was like, okay, well, I manifested all this money. Why can't I do it again? Why isn't it consistent? And that's when I started to really, like, this was more than 10 years ago. That's when I really started to dive in to like the nuances of manifestation.
Hmm.
And that's also when I started to really struggle with my own mental health.
Yeah.
And it was at the point where I was kind of in my darkest times, where I started to go to a lot of therapy, where I started to get a lot of help, where I started meditating, where I started doing a lot of subconscious programming, where I discovered alternative healing modalities like kinesiology or
Hmm.
hypnotherapy, that I started to notice that the things that I wanted to manifest were coming easier and easier. And that's where I kind of put the connection together, or, where I discovered that we don't manifest from our thoughts. It's not about thinking positive. It's not about pretending to be happy and then everything you want will come to you. It's about
Yeah.
your deep subconscious beliefs. And when you are experiencing struggles with your mental health, or when you're in a dark place, or when things are not, when you're dealing with a lot of trauma, a lot of heaviness in your
Mhm.
subconscious mind. That's a lot of subconscious stuff. Those are layers and layers of trauma in your subconscious mind. When you're there in that dark place and you start to do the healing work through therapy, through kinesiology, through hypnotherapy, through whatever other alternative healing or standard therapy
Mhm.
modalities that you discuss,
Yeah.
when you start to heal those beliefs and those deeper layers of your subconscious mind and your trauma and everything like that, that's when the things that you want will start to come through more and more easily. Because when you start to raise your feelings of self-worth, when you start to feel more deserving of the things that you want, then your
Mhm.
actions also reflect that.
Yeah.
When you show up in confidence, then when you show up in confidence and in deservingness, and when you ask for what you want, then you also start to get more and more of that. So I did use the secret to manifest or manifestation, but after that, I really struggled because that was not the full story. It's not just about vibes. It's a lot more than that. It's about your
Yeah, that's true. But it's funny you should say that because I too stumbled across this documentary on Netflix. Like it
yeah.
was some random, I don't know, just the evening. I was alone at home and then I just randomly, just skipped series just to or shows just to check what was on. And then I saw The Secret and people being
It's so
interviewed and
cheesy.
everything.
It's so
And
cheesy.
it's so cheesy, but still it's so catchy though. And then I remember the exact moment I sat on my couch and I was like, I was mind blown because in that moment everything made sense. And then um some things, I manifested as well. And then, like you said, I got in some sort of a not a rut, but it's more like it. Like you said, it wasn't consistent. Also for
Mhm.
me, and then I stumbled across your Instagram account, and everything made sense again.
Yeah.
So
Because
because it's so
when you're
interesting.
struggling to manifest something, it's because you have
Hmm.
a conscious belief that's telling you that or a trauma or something in your vibration or in your energy or in your subconscious mind that's not aligned with that thing that you're calling in. And so I used the secret to manifest that money to go to that school because I was fully believing in my deservingness. And I was like, I really wanted it with every like fiber of my being, and I really believed that I could have it. I was maybe a little bit delusional, but I believed it. And I didn't have any doubts that I was deserving of it. And that's why it worked out. But if I had had any doubts about my deservingness, or if I had had any limiting beliefs in that area
Hmm.
of my life, then it probably wouldn't have worked out. And that's also an interesting thing. So we have like 8 core areas of our life, right? And we can have very healthy beliefs in one area and very toxic beliefs in another area. So you might be living your life and realize, like, okay, I have a great job and I always have enough money, but somehow I'm always in a toxic relationship. Every time I'm
Hmm.
in a relationship and it turns sour, something goes wrong, it feels like me and relationships just don't work out. It's probably because you have limiting beliefs in that area. And in the areas of your life that things are going well, you probably don't have any limiting beliefs.
Hmm.
So for me, I never had any doubts or questioned myself in terms of academic ability. I always knew that I was smart and that I could do things. And so when I was trying to manifest money for scholarships, I manifested like more than $400,000 US dollars in scholarship money in my life. It's because I never questioned my worth and my deservingness in terms of academic ability. Then there was like the finances, personal finances. When I tried to manifest money, it was like not happening because I had so many limiting beliefs and like a toxic money story and so much
Hmm.
gooky bad experiences with money that when I tried to manifest money for myself, it never worked. But when I tried to manifest money in terms of scholarships, it was tied to my academic
Yeah.
ability and my beliefs in terms about my ability, like in terms of my intelligence and stuff like that. I had no limiting beliefs there, so it was easy to get the money there. And so
Hmm.
I realized, okay, my money and my money story, my finances, that's kind of an issue. Let me work on that. You start to dig through those limiting beliefs, and I'm like, oh gosh, like I've got a lot going on in here. It's been like,
What is
I'm
happening?
like, whoa, where do these beliefs come from? Like money is
Yeah.
the root of all evil. Money will make you a bad person. Money, you know, money changes people, money makes people not like you, money makes people want to take advantage of you. All of these were beliefs that I was holding on to. And now I'm at a point where I'm able to manifest much more money than I was ever. Like, manifesting money is now no longer an issue. What I've realized is an issue is my ability to trust myself with money. So I manifest money coming in, money comes in very easily now, but I seem to just spend it as fast as I get it. So now I need to make beliefs about trusting myself with money, and my beliefs around, am I responsible enough to handle money? And I know exactly that once I figure out what beliefs are causing me to kind of lose my money in, that I will also start to get better in that area. But it's always a process. So it's not like, okay, I'm a manifestation teacher and I just like think about what I want and poof, it comes. It's like, still a process, and I'm still a human, and I still have my traumas, my stories, my beliefs, my everything that I'm also still working through. So I'm in it just as much. I'm in this process just as much as my clients are. I'm just like maybe working on different things, or my things, because my things are never going to be the same as your things, right?
Yeah. And also, I think you're probably a bit more aware of how things work. Like, maybe you could explain to the audience a bit more in detail about, because we talked about a lot about energies and how, energies work. Maybe the audience would like to clarify that, or maybe you would like to clarify that.
Absolutely. So, okay. So how our energy influences the things. Okay, let me start at the beginning. So we are at the core. Everything is at the core of everything. You, me, the table that I'm at, the laptop that I'm at. We're all at the core made out of energy, of energy waves and vibrations, right? So this is kind of the quantum field. On the quantum level, everything is just energy waves and vibrations. And if you had like a super powerful microscope and you looked at your hand under this super powerful microscope, you wouldn't be able to tell where your hand begins and where the air starts, because it would all be kind of the same thing. And at this level of energy waves and vibrations, we are it's kind of like if you think about like a radio station, right? So there's 100 million different channels being broadcasted at any moment at any point in anywhere in the world, but you only pick up the frequency, or you only pick up the sound of the channel that you're tuned into, of the frequency that you're tuned into. And the same goes for us. So our brain is kind of this data processing machine that is tuned into a particular frequency and of the quantum field, and that picks up data and processes all this data and then creates this reality in your mind. So we're looking at things, we're looking at this computer screen, we're looking at the things that are showing up in our life, the people that are showing up in our life, and our brain is only able to pick up and process the data that's on the same frequency that we are, right? So when we have a lot of limiting beliefs, or when we have a lot of trauma, or when we have a lot of memories that are maybe less than positive, those less than positive memories have a lower frequency. And we know that we can actually measure on actual like EEG scans and stuff, the vibration of specific emotions. So there's been a lot of research on negative emotions and the vibration that those negative emotions release, like the energy that those negative emotions can release into the body.
I mean, you feel the emotion in your body as well. Like, you feel fear and you feel pain.
Exactly. It's all like these electrical impulses that are going through the brain, right? And
it makes sense.
Electricity is energy, and that energy, we all know from basic science class in primary school, that energy cannot be created or destroyed. So if you have an electrical impulse going through your brain, a thought or a belief or a feeling or a memory, and that electricity has to go somewhere. It goes out into the universe, and it affects the way that you're interacting with the quantum field. And then what you send out is what you then receive back as well, what you perceive, right? Because our brain, there's this system in the brain called the reticular activation system. And the system in the brain that tells your brain what to pay attention to and what to ignore. Because imagine if we were walking down the road and we paid equal attention to every single leaf and every single pebble and every single sign and every single raindrop as we did to like a car that was moving towards us really fast. we would be totally overwhelmed. So our brain says, okay, this leaf is not important to our survival. This pebble is not important to our survival. We just ignore 90% of the data that we probably interact with on a daily basis. But we always notice if there's a car moving towards us at a rapid pace because we need to get out of the way. We always know if we, there's certain things that we've decided or told our brain, this is very important. We should pay attention. And then that's what our brain picks up. And our beliefs are there to tell our reticular activation system in our brain what's important and what's not. So if we have a belief that we are unworthy of love, then our brain is going to see people who are worthy, are capable of giving us love, and say, okay, that's not relevant to my survival because we're not worthy of love anyway, right? So then you never see those people who would then be, so if you have, I hear this all the time with my clients. Women are like, oh, all men are scumbags. And then our brain is like, okay, you believe that all men are scumbags. So when you walk down the street and you see a guy who is not a scumbag, your brain's like, discard that information because that's not relevant to my story that I'm telling myself.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you tell yourself, it's not possible to have a job where I can do this and have this much money. So when you see that when you're applying for jobs and you see a job that could be that, you discard that information because it's not relevant, because your brain is like, okay, I can't.
Because you think I can't deal with it anyway. Like,
yeah, exactly. Your brain is just like, discard. So there's so much data that we just discard on a daily basis. And when we change our beliefs and we tell our brain what we like, when we get rid of those beliefs and we say, actually, brain, I want to believe that there is someone out there who can treat me really well, who's a great human being, who's going to be a great partner and a great dad to my kids, and who has all of these characteristics and qualities, then your brain will also start to notice when those people or evidence for those beliefs show up in your life. So you'll always see evidence for the things that you believe. And that's why, so
that is so true.
Mm-hmm.
I've never looked at it that way. Thank you. It's always so mind-opening talking to you, because sometimes you're like, we talked about this topic for like a couple times now, back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But like every time you bring something new and I'm like, yeah, that's true.
It's really complex, because people are like, okay, manifestation is about being happy and attracting and just sitting back and attracting whatever you want. And it's actually so much more complex than that. It's like your belief system, your brain, the quantum field, the energy that you're sending out. There's so many different layers to it. And so we have to think about our belief systems. We have to think about our energies. We have to think about our vibration. How does our belief system influence our vibration? It's like quite complex, but once you start to understand how it works, then you can start to live your life accordingly. And that's where the whole mental health thing comes in as well.
Yeah. So what would you recommend to somebody just starting out, except for, taking a course with the art and science, but like, what would you recommend? Like, where do you start? Because like you said, if you're a non-manifester yet, like, where do you start? It's kind of overwhelming, because like you said, it's about belief systems, energies, quantum fields,
I would say it doesn't have to be so complicated. You can just start by taking an audit of your life and asking yourself what's working and what's not. And in the areas that are working well, you probably have some healthy beliefs, and that's why they're working out. You probably have a good, healthy, strong self-worth in relation to that thing. So if you have a great relationship, probably you've got some good self-worth in terms of your beliefs about how worthy you are of love and of partnership and of all of those things. If you have an area of your life that's not working out so well, like let's say finances, or you are finding it difficult to keep a job, or to find a job where you have a good balance and you're not burnt out all the time, and you're challenged but not on the verge of having a burnout, or any other area of your life. Or if you find yourself living in an apartment all the time that you're not happy with, it can even be like that. Just look at your life and figure out what's working. That's probably all good, probably have healthy beliefs there. And then what areas of your life are not working so well? And the areas of your life that are not working so well, ask yourself, what must I believe in order to be seeing this evidence, right? So your brain is always looking for evidence for your beliefs. So if you're living in a situation, or if you're in an apartment or an environment that you're not comfortable in, what beliefs do you have about yourself, about your deservingness to be in a nice space, or in a comfortable space, or in a safe space? If you're struggling to keep a relationship, ask yourself about what beliefs do you hold about your deservingness of love, or your, worthiness of love, or even about, the way that the whatever. So for example, straight women thinking that all men are scumbags. If that's a belief that you hold, then you will continue to meet scumbags until you change that, right?
Yeah, sure. So do you think, like, when we talk about the link between manifestation and mental health, so when we talk about mental illness, like what is it called in English?
Chronic depression.
No, it's like a diagnosed. Okay. Yeah, that was hard. Okay. So
you're doing great. This would be so much worse if you were speaking
you're
German.
doing amazing, sweetie. So do you think that our belief system or our beliefs are the core to having a diagnosed mental illness? I'm not talking about, mental struggles that you might have, but like having, like you said, like chronic depression, or I don't know, like OCD, like something more severe, I would say. Do you think that we are able to change that through manifestation?
So this is a very touchy subject, right? Because I'm not a
Yeah.
licensed therapist or psychiatrist. And so I have my opinions, and those are just opinions, right? But I have a lot of people in my family with very severe mental illnesses, and I've seen people that I love on medication, heavy medication, for many, many years. And I do believe that there is a point where there's chemical imbalances in your brain, and it's manifestation and mindset and strategies, and those are just not, at certain point, those tools may be helpful, but they're not going to be the solution to the underlying problem. If it's a physical, there's a chemical imbalance in your brain, there's something underlying physically in your brain not functioning correctly. However, I believe that there are many people who are diagnosed with things like depression and anxiety and any number of these diagnoses, which are diagnosed maybe without consideration for the bigger picture, and for, maybe circumstantial things. And people may be having natural reactions to their circumstances, and they maybe need to change their environment or the people around them rather than taking medication, right? So again, I'm not a licensed therapist, and I do know that at some point, like I know personally from people in my family, that medication can be the difference between life and death. There are some people in my family who, if they were not medicated at the point that they were medicated at, they may not be here with us anymore, because it was very severe. And at that point, I'm so grateful that medication exists, and I'm so grateful. But at the same time, that same person has now been medicated for many, many years and has not really uncovered any deeper, maybe, traumas or root causes of what led them to be there in the first place, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm so skeptical towards it, because I have a similar experience. Like, I have also people in my family experiencing mental health issues as well. And they have been diagnosed since I can remember, like in 32 years, from my part at least. So I find it really hard to, but then again, like, to understand also the person, because I mean, the person, she's or he is okay with it, taking the medication, because he obviously, or she, feels good, but then again, like, from the outside, it's like, well, but you're not really healing on the inside, it's more on the surface.
Yeah, exactly. And so the same person that for me, kinesiology. So I think we talked about this already on the episode. Where
On
I've
your
used a lot,
life though.
yeah, on my live
Yeah.
session. That I went to a lot of therapy and I got nowhere, like traditional behavioral therapy, and I got nowhere because I was talking from a very conscious level and not from a subconscious level. And then when I discovered kinesiology, which we use the body and the muscle testing to kind of get into the subconscious beliefs in the subconscious mind, that's when I really started to have my breakthroughs and like really heal deeper levels of trauma that I did not consciously know existed. And so I sent this person to the same kinesiologist that I go to. And she went and she was like, wow, after the session, she's like, in that 1 hour, I think I went deeper than I've gone in the last 15 years of traditional talk therapy and medication. And I was like, that's amazing. So when are you going back? She's like, I can't. It was too painful. And
Oh
so
wow. Okay.
it's like, who know? I mean, I don't know if she would ever really be able to come off of her medication if she continued to go to these deeper places in her subconscious mind. Who knows, right? But maybe. And the fact that many people think, okay, either you go to see a psychiatrist and a therapist because that's real medicine and that's real like help, and then all of these alternative modalities like EFT tapping or kinesiology or hypnotherapy don't seem as real because they're quote woo woo and not, then it's like, okay, well, how do you know it's not going to work unless you try it? And I really am a strong believer that we need a balance of the two. We can't just say, okay, all medication is bad. Nobody should be medicated. We should all just like go meditate and live in the forest and heal ourselves through the energy of the Gaia, right? Or we also can't say all that other stuff is woo woo. We just have to medicate and that's it, right? It's like, why can't we do both? And I really believe in doing a balance of both. And like I myself, I'm not a licensed therapist, but I have spent so much time learning the methodologies that I teach for my clients, manifestation, like EFT tapping and kinesiology and some NLP and hypnosis and different things that are alternative and quote unquote woo woo. But there's tons of actual research that's showing more and more that these therapies actually really, no one understands really exactly how they work. But
I think that's the problem too.
Yeah.
Like there's no, well, I mean, there is scientific proof.
I mean, there's like evidence that it's working, but how's it working? No one knows exactly.
No one knows. Yeah, but it is. Like same for me. When I went to therapy, we talked about this before. So I was very lucky to have a therapist who, she was not only a licensed psychologist, but she also incorporated like these alternative healing methods. So we did a lot of meditation and hypnosis to get to the subconscious. And I've never experienced anything like this before. And in the beginning, she was like, yeah, I do this hypnosis therapy, and we're going to do a little hypnosis. And she explained what she's going to do and stuff. And in the beginning, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever works for you. Like, I just want this to be over. Let's just get on to it, and then we'll see how far we get. Okay. But also for me, like the first session was incredible, and still is. Like still, like when I do like hypnosis sessions or deep meditation sessions, it's still sometimes amazing what you can uncover.
Yeah, those are where I really believe that those are where the breakthroughs are. And when you're talking from your when you're talking to someone from a conscious level, there's so many things that you're unaware of. And an interesting thing is also like your subconscious mind, there are protective parts of you that don't want you to go that deep. It's painful. It can be painful to look at those things, right? And but you have to look at them to heal them. You have to feel the pain to move through it, right? You have to feel your feelings until they no longer require to be, or no longer require you to feel them, right? Or no longer required to be felt, whatever that
because they want to be seen as well. I like to see it as like sometimes when I experience anxiety or pain or whatever, I just let it, because then again, I'm like, this this feeling wants to be seen.
Yeah,
There's a reason this feeling is showing up. And
yeah.
then it's my job to discover, okay, why is this bothering me so much? Why am I sad? Why?
Mhm,
Just ask why. Just go deeper and
mhm.
don't just, you know,
Try to distract yourself from it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I like to think of emotions as guides, right? If you're feeling
Mhm.
a very negative emotion, it's your body telling you, hey, I don't like this. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to
Mhm.
experience this again. And so, what caused it? What triggered it? What about it makes you so sad? And how can you kind of like optimize to move away from that in the future? And, if you're experiencing loss, for example, that's like your body telling you that this was something that you really loved and that you are now,
Mhm.
it's no longer part of your life. And if you just try to ignore that, you're going to just bury it. And
Mhm.
emotions are energy, right? And so when we have a memory or an experience, that experience is like a little bundle of energy that you're like like a little something that you can, I like to visualize it as like when I'm feeling sadness, I like hold the sadness in my hand and then I
Oh,
look at it until it dissolves. And when I look at it, it'll get smaller and smaller, it'll dissolve. But otherwise, if I don't look at it, it's going to stick to me. And
yeah.
I can't, like, everywhere I go, it's going to be stuck there until it's going to be there. It's going to be weighing me down. It's going to make me heavy. It's going to make it
Mhm.
hard for me to like move and live my life and be free. And when I stop trying to ignore it and I just take it in my hands and look at it, then that's how I dissolve it. That's how I get rid of
Mhm.
it.
Mhm. So, going back to my question,
Mhm.
I s- do you, well, I mean, it's pretty obvious that you believe that our mind has a power that is bigger than we can imagine,
Mhm.
but also it's important to do the work,
Yeah.
obviously. So, I guess, um, like mental illnesses or mental issues
Mhm.
can be lightened or can be dissolved through your mind work, basically.
I believe that if we're talking, I'm think, of course, this may not apply to everyone, but I'm thinking
Mhm.
for most people go through something hard and then they or a lot experience a deep loss or something triggers them to fall into a depression or
Mhm.
if you go and you find the root of that and you heal that, I do believe that at like the subconscious level, I believe that you can
Mhm.
lift that cloud of heaviness off of you. But that doesn't mean that this is going to apply to everybody. And this doesn't
Yeah.
mean that nobody should take medication or that
Mhm.
sometimes you might need that intermediate step of taking medication to give you enough strength to do that work and to go that deep, right?
Yeah.
It is painful and it can be hard. But I
Mhm.
really do believe that every physical and mental illness is at the root cause by some kind of energetic imbalance in the body. And
Mhm.
so, through finding what is causing this energetic imbalance and healing that, we can restore energetic balance into the body. We can heal ourselves physically, but also mentally.
Yeah.
That's a very strong and powerful belief that I have. And there is also like a lot of, I'm not sure if you've heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza or
Yeah, sure.
right. So he talks a lot about this as well. He essentially what he's talking about is manifestation as well, but for physical, healing. You
Mhm.
healing your physical body by finding the root belief or trauma or energetic
Mhm.
imbalance that's causing you this dis-ease.
Mhm. So, for your clients, like, what kind of, just so that my audience
Mhm.
knows what you're doing, so what can they expect? Like, what kind of tools are
Mhm.
you using for them to experience this kind of transformation or
Yeah. So basically, my clients will come to me with sometimes people want to manifest something very, very specific. They're like, I want
Mhm.
to buy a house, or I want to manifest a partner. A lot of people want to manifest love. And
Mhm.
then manifesting a partner is a great example. So they come to me and they want to manifest a partner. So then what we do in our sessions is we look at, okay, so what are the beliefs or what is your history with relationships? What kinds of relationships did you observe when you were younger? And what kind of beliefs may those things that you saw as a young child, or, in your past, or even past experiences with bad relationships yourself, or that you've seen other people go through, what kinds of beliefs did those maybe create in your mind? And how can we remove those beliefs, change those beliefs, and reprogram those beliefs to support you in finding an actual healthy relationship partner and allowing yourself to attract that and feeling deserving and feeling deserving of love. And so what we do in the sessions is we look at the different belief systems. We do a lot of detective work to find out what those beliefs are at the root. And then we use these different healing modalities, like different techniques from kinesiology or hypnosis or EFT tapping, to reprogram the subconscious mind, to create healthier beliefs that allow people to then attract and see evidence for these things in their life. If the client is trying to manifest money, then we do the same thing. We ask, okay, so what's your money story? What's your history with money? What are your experiences with money? Did you not have enough money growing up? Did you have so much money in your family growing up that you're now ashamed of it? Like it made you feel embarrassed or uncomfortable when friends came over because you had this mansion. Like sometimes there's so many different conclusions that our subconscious mind draws. They're like, okay, people treat me different. Sometimes people grow up with a lot of money and then they struggle with money their whole life. It's because maybe growing up with so much money made you feel different and made you feel left out and made you feel judged by other people. And then you are rejecting it subconsciously in your subconscious mind. Your belief is like, I don't want that because I don't want people to treat me differently. Or manifesting a job. Somebody might come to me and they're saying, okay, I want to manifest a job where I feel really comfortable, but I still earn a lot of money. And the belief is like, I don't believe that it's possible to have the best of both worlds. Either I have a lot of money and I hate my job, or I have a fun job, but I don't earn enough money. And that's all just a belief. If you change the belief, then you'll see evidence for the stronger belief in reality.
Sounds amazing.
It is. It's very fun. And I love to help people with their breakthroughs, because sometimes the things, I mean, it's always easier as an outside party also to see into the limiting beliefs of other people. So I have a harder time identifying my own beliefs because I'm me, right? And my subconscious mind is trying to keep those all away. But when I talk to other people, they'll tell me a story and I'm like, okay, that's a limiting belief. That's a limiting belief. That's a limiting belief. Bam, bam, bam. Like hang them out. And they have these like breakthrough moments. And when you have a big breakthrough, your whole energy shifts and your life starts to expand. So can start to expand so rapidly. It's like incredible. It's like one of my clients, she was manifesting. She was about to turn 40 and she really wanted to have a baby. And so she was really manifesting a partner because she wanted to have a baby. And then the belief that we uncovered was like, okay, she can only have a baby if she has a partner. And actually the partner is kind of irrelevant because there's so many ways you can have a baby without a partner.
Sure.
And when she had that realization, it was like transformation, next level. And so then it was no longer manifesting a partner, it was manifesting a donor. And now she has a donor. He's like,
oh my God,
the eggs are fertilized, they're ready to go. Like it's all happening so quickly. And basically on her way to the fertility clinic, she met a guy, and it was like
what?
Yeah, like
No
crazy.
way.
I mean, that relationship is still very fresh, very early. So who knows if that will actually work out. But the point is, when you take the pressure off of meeting the guy, also it's much more likely that you don't have this resistance that's also taking it away, right?
But it's also with a lot of things, right? As soon as you let go of the outcome, basically, things start to happen. And it's
exactly. And
amazing.
You start to realize that like their plan doesn't have to go according to your plan. Your plan can be, it doesn't have to be a linear journey. Like you can, maybe you have the baby first and then meet the guy. Who knows? Like
who knows?
It doesn't have to be this cookie cutter wait, it's actually like, what do you want? Like, what's the essence of what you really want? If what you really want is to have a baby, then when you realize that, then everything else falls off. It's like, oh, pressure
Mhm.
is off of the relationship and the dating. Pressure is off of me. Pressure is off of, you take the pressure off of so many different areas. And
Yeah.
another limiting belief is like, okay, well, yeah, but fertility treatments are very expensive. Turns out that's not even the case anymore. It's actually very affordable now for most women to get fertility treatments. So I think she flew to like a different European country and she got them there. And it was
Mhm.
like, I mean, they used to be like $40,000-$50,000, and apparently that's not the case anymore. So it's like
Yeah.
realizing that when you know the essence of what you want, there are a lot of different ways to get there.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. I'm so happy.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
great.
that made me
So
pretty happy as well.
so where does one find you? How do people get in contact with you? What kind of social media accounts? You're very active on Instagram.
Yes.
So, and you post a lot of fun videos as well for those who want to go check you out. So yeah, how do your clients find you? How do my audience find you?
Yes, you can find me at the art and science underscore on Instagram. So I'm sure you can put this under the show notes. It's
Sure.
the art and science, all spelled out in lowercase letters with an underscore at the end. Or you can look at my website, which is artofmanifestation.com. So art of and then a hyphen manifestation.com. Or you can ask Patricia for my number.
Sure, I will be happy to give
Yeah.
your number. Thank you
And
so
just
much.
as like a information, so I'm accepting 2 more one-on-one clients at the moment. So if anybody wants
Cool.
to jump on board with that for the 3-month intensive one-on-one coaching, then I'm here. Get in touch. And I have my manifestation course, which you can reach out to me and you can purchase. And that's like a video modules on how to master your energy, how to find your limiting beliefs, how to reprogram those beliefs, and how to get after what you want.
Great. Oh, it sounds amazing. And I highly, highly, highly recommend your work. I love what you do. Thank you
Thank
so,
you
so
so
much for
much.
being on the show. I can't wait to chat with you soon
Yes.
and talk to you maybe over a drink or so. We'll see.
Let's go for another drink.
Sure, we should. We should. It's getting cold outside, so maybe there's going
We
to be
can go
tea.
for fondue.
Yeah. Ooh, good idea.
Is it too early for that for cheese? It's October. But I think we should.
Lona, it's never too early.